Hiyo concept ya wheelbarrow inafaa kwenda UG.
Ndio wabebe nini? We carry the economy.
But the culture shock he will get. Leo unasikia tu because akili yako ina process
2 million.
2 million.
Hiyo ni gari.
Convert unasikia ni 50.
Wow.
All right, let's do the last wave. Still on this gender. You know this gender.
This other gender.
This other gender.
Gani ya rumors ama ya sharper brains.
Sharper brains. Manze, kuna dema ameniambia ati nimtumie pesa ya Uber. Ati haizi panda mat juu ako na stage fright.
Wow.
This gender. I have stage fright. Kwanza pale Githurai.
Pale Uthiru.
Niko na phobia.
Aki please naona watu wamejaa kwa stage.
Siwezi mimi.
Naona kama handbag itakatwa.
Their brains are not sharp like that. They give a very dumb excuse by
the pesa ya Uber. Please. Aki please.
Ay.
Ati kwanza hizi matatu za Githurai. Aki zinakaa kama punda.
Now that's how I like it. Now that's how they sound. Yeah, your handbag cut, that's too sharp for them.
Too sharp for them.
Their brains cannot handle that much content.
Sana akiwa stage ya Githurai, Kayole, kaningine. Mwingine Kasarani mwekie.
Ai guys.
Naona kama hizi mazi kwa na kunguni.
Guys.
Manje umeeleza gari tabana kunguni siri. I know the excuse is dumb, but it's true.
Kweli zinakuwa na kunguni.
Kwanza ukimaje kwenye unapande wenda kupande OTC?
Msichome watu. Comrade Ria.
Tunaongea tu.
Yes.
OTC is the only place where you have to check mkokoteni, wezi, watu, na bike at the same time.
At the same time.
So you have to be 4 in 1. Na sasa unavuka tu barabara.
Imagine.
Umeenda Githurai?
Githurai is better. I think Githurai is better. I think stage Githurai is better.
Really?
I think stage
Sasa stage ya Githurai ni better. Wacha ushuke.
Asema ushuke nikasa unaingia na uko sasa kuingia. Tunasema stage kupanda gari. OTC. But anyway.
Nilikuwa nimesahau tuk-tuk.
Oh, kuna bado
tuk-tuk. Imagine. All in one person.
Please, our government and Nairobi MCA, CBD MCA, please
do something.
Lakini si mati zinaacha kuingia tao soon. So
let's wait and see. Hizo ni cartel.
Those views do not represent these channels.
Viewer description. Disclaimer.
Stand for our opinions. We love Nairobi.
Kanairo. So guys, put it once again on the comment section which was your best meme. Fam, which one was your best meme? Let me start with you, Jane.
Number 2.
Kamasiwa.
Ya Kisia Kamasiwa. Ya Swahili dishes. Kamasiwa.
Ile imepaki ni maasikwa. Imepaki.
Here Uganda hands
2 million.
Icho akuti kuongeza Zanzibar 6 billion. I can't. Awesome.
Currency is on another level.
We need to put this to a close because today's memes are on fire. Salute to the meme lords. You guys make our day. So we'll take a short break before we get to the topic of the day. Stay tuned.
Good. Hello, Firebrand Nation. Welcome to this episode of FNN. This is the place where we tackle cultural issues, giving them faith-based insights. So if you're new here, karibu sana. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel where you can get to watch more powerful and impactful videos. Also join us on the comment section, on the chat section. Chat us up. Tell us what you think about the topics of the day. What insights do you have about the topics of the day? What's your favorite meme for the day? And let's have an amazing time. So let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back to the show. So today we have a couple of topics that I want us to tackle. Because nakwambia siku hizi Kenya, Kanairo yatuonesha Kanairo plus their leaders and everything put together. Yatuonesha a lot of crazy things put together. Yeah. So let's start with the presidential address. We were so ready. Mimi nilikuwa nimegoja curfew iishe. Alafu akatuambia 60 days. 60 more days.
Acha nilikuwa nimepanga kwenda kwa nini? Kwa police station.
Kucheza nje.
Kuambia kidole.
10 after 10.
After 10 or 5.
Yeah. You can do nothing about it.
Oh, shock on our faces.
Shock.
My chest. My chest pains.
It was painful.
Because then again, like for me, I was getting prepared for my birthday, man. Because imagine mnapeleka say birthday or just an event, squeeze ikifika 9, everybody's running home.
9 hata ni late, my friend.
8.
Hey.
You already, because it depends where the venue is.
Right.
So as many Kenyans, I would agree, akuwa na haja ya presidential address. Ange text to ama ange tweet.
Thank you.
Ange tweet to andike, guys, listen. This thing is moving forward for 60 days.
Yes.
It's so hard.
Aendelee kutembea kwa barabara tu, aende akitangazia watu wenye watasikia update watu. Because
nasikia ni kama ameingisha Kenyans kwa depression.
I know. We were quite depressed for the past 1 year.
And then the worst thing is all those things that were said, all those measures.
yeah.
Actually, wacha tuanzie hapa. And this is my view.
They don't represent
These they represent my brand and everything about it. But let me say this.
Yeah.
Why is it that every time the presidential address is just about to be declared?
Yeah.
Manze hizo numbers sijui kama ni mimi uona. Sijui hizo numbers kuna vile.
They get us prepared.
Yeah. I think we need,
because you need backup evidence. Because say everyone has media.
Now, when it was actually 1 week to the presidential address, the numbers became multiplied. Then I'm like,
because you need a backup plan.
The last 2 weeks or a month,
the numbers have been
were low.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the numbers have gone up.
And then they started saying there's a new strain of COVID that is causing different symptoms. I personally I totally don't get his reason. You know, for me, one thing that in an effect about this curfew is I understand sometimes it may be good or whatever, but 10 p.m. You know, these other countries like London, the UK, some places like in the US, when they have put that curfew, there's something that they are doing. Right. You understand? There are things they are putting into measure the government is doing. Kenya, there's nothing. There's literally nothing they are doing. You know, Angesema, after 10 p.m., this is what we are doing. We're going to the streets to wash them. We are doing this to wash them, this and this and
no, the thing was.
Only to say they're going to the street to vacuum.
Una carpet wametandika.
No, you see, this was the point. They said from 10 p.m. is the time when most people go party. And it's in the parties that
really?
COVID-19 will be spread.
Kenya hapa archives, unataka kuniambia wenye watu hapa archives wanakuanga hata tuachane na archives.
Tumeenda mbali
downtown. Wenye watu wako downtown na kwa clubs hapa huku chini watu they are few than in clubs.
So unajua sasa kwa club huku
you know what actually helped because of like the issues that have been happening with the students. The issues that we've been seeing from last year. What really happened was you might stop us from meeting personally, but I'll take the party home.
Right.
And I'll do it for a week.
Out of CVO 10. See ongelei back Kiambu, but please come to Kiambu Road Friday. Not out of Friday. Wednesday from Wednesday. Literally there's jam.
Party after party.
Cause cars have lined any gari zimejaza 2 petrol stations.
And what time is that?
Your time from 7 or 6 or 7,
exactly.
8, 9. What ones are talking about 10?
Wait, let me ask.
And you want to tell us that
the nightclubs, the clubs are still working?
Yes.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
There's a club in Doni.
Yes.
They're functioning.
Clubs are
There's-
functioning.
Which country
Even
am I-
before your address.
And
So
that
I'm
brings
like,
me to the
that's a
next
very-
question, because he said the restaurants should be closed, restaurants, clubs should be closed at 9 p.m. But the church should reduce their number to a third. So I don't usually understand, because technically in church is where you're more safe. But it's fine for entertainment joints to close at 9.
And 9.
And technically, that 9 doesn't happen.
Nope.
Because clubs in Doni run. Not all, but some.
Yeah. So if clubs are working,
Yeah, but the church is supposed to reduce the numbers.
so the places of worship,
Yes.
they're reducing
They're reducing their numbers to a third.
to a third.
Yes.
Arusi bado na burials ni 100.
But clubs
And we are
is
still-
fine.
are we
Clubs
still-
should close.
wait.
Clubs no numbers were put. Restaurants no numbers were put. We're just told to close by 9 p.m.
No, I think all
Where
this
are you
was
most
just-
likely to get COVID?
Tell us in the comment section.
Because
Great.
Tell us in the comment section.
I
But let me ask this: is it the address? Do you think is it something that is going to be followed, or is it because from my take, I think this was just like any other PR, bearing in mind that the last address was put in place and it was obeyed like in within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we began seeing public rallies, even the president himself going to these rallies still,
Yeah.
right? So I think even this time it's going for just 2 weeks, and then from then we will see politicians coming up again.
And in my
we will see the
opinion,
BBI rallies.
Right, so
we
you're
are
almost
to
going
see
to reach 22.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
numbers will start going down depending on what issue is going to happen next. Depending on the biggest thing, if it's PBI, the numbers will all of a sudden just start going down
Masks
to get us
being
prepared
removed.
for BBI, just for rallies.
God.
And that's usually my issue.
Yeah.
Because I think this thing is just.
It's I think for me,
I think it was PR. For me, I think it's PR.
I don't know.
personally, I think at Pale, as Kenyans, we have gotten, the first days, it was reasonable.
Right.
The first when COVID, it was reasonable. Now, Kenyans have seen there are a lot of things that have happened in this COVID.
Right.
They are COVID billionaires.
Right.
We are hearing every day 2 billion is being stolen every single day. The government is doing nothing. So the way that they have been taking Kenyans, lack of better words, to be wajinga, right now Kenyans are educated. So personally, this is my thought. Some Kenyans will obey, but these curfew things or whatever they have said, I am pretty sure that Kenyans will get to a point and be like, no more. We are done until you, first of all, give us justice in what is happening. Iku to feature macho has come, it has to come to an end. We
Right.
have to take a stand as a people to understand why are you extending the curfew. Kenya has gotten to a place that it's back to normal, but transport sector inaumia. Because these people who are traveling too far, lazima they have to count in a day. Let's say like people going to Eldoret,
Right.
they have, or maybe even Kisumu, Kakamega.
Kakamega.
It's like maybe 3 or let's say zote lazima zitoke asubuhi. Kukuja hivi, they have to wait for the next day.
Right.
Ndio zikuje hivi.
Right.
So these are in a whole maybe a month or a week was making more money. Sahi hata not even cutting it by 50, it has literally reduced. Transport sectors wanaumia. These other sectors are still operating normally.
And notwithstanding that fuel imeongezeka.
Thank you.
With the whooping 7 shillings.
I think for me, the president would have opened up the country, but push on taking measures.
Yes.
This is my reasoning. Since actually we reached 1 year on Saturday. Saturday I think is when we since the first case was
It's an anniversary.
announced. I believe within the 1 year we must have learned something. Because once like let's say 2020, we shut the country because we were trying to understand this COVID, trying to come up with measures, trying to even to understand what is this COVID thing. But I believe right now we've already gone a mile ahead. We know the measures.
Right.
We opened up like the worship places. We opened up the some of the key sectors. We opened up the county borders, boundaries.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. Let's open up everything, but take precautions.
Yeah.
Take precautions. I don't see why we should still regulate. I think we should put, let's say, let's continue keeping the social distance, like in churches and in gatherings. Let's keep the 1.5 or 2 meters. Let's keep the social distance, but let's open up the country. Because the economy, there are people who are still jobless. There are people whose businesses are dead.
And that's my question.
Yeah.
Because it will actually have been easier, yes, we open the economy, and they also offer incentives. Because not many Kenyans, because I was doing, after reading a research, almost 2 million Kenyans, no, actually 18 million Kenyans have lost their jobs. And we are technically 40 million.
Right.
So I don't know if it was a bit of an exaggeration, but let's say technically 2 million Kenyans have lost their jobs. So if you're giving these measures with solutions, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're giving these measures and expecting us to just stay back at home, you're not telling us how we're going to eat. You're not telling us what's going to happen to the jobless people, the food economy, and things of the sort. And that's usually my problem. And when we now go to TZ, because Magufuli, we're not really sure, but it's allegedly that he's actually sick. But that it's alleged. It's not sure if it's COVID-19. And recently, he was saying that, because he was one person who was the biggest skeptic in Africa in terms of COVID-19, so he didn't really implement the measures in Tanzania. But now, they're saying that it's about time that they start following the measures. So family, I keep asking, because when you're given a position of leadership, it means you have the ability to take people. You see something, you're a visionary. So you see something that the rest of the people are not seeing. So my question would be, because now he's taking a U-turn and asking people now to take this COVID-19 more seriously.
Right.
Where is the thin line between being manipulated and having obedience? Because then again, we have media in our hands. So I don't really understand, because many TZs actually died, but there's also this other thing that he put into law that you're not supposed to report. So like there are sanctions that the media people were given. So my question is, what is the thin line between obedience and manipulation? That's...
Oh, I go first. I think there's a thin line between obedience, especially when it comes to leadership.
Yeah.
You as a leader and the people you're leading. I think there's a thin line between obedience and manipulation. And manipulation will come in the aspect that you have a hidden agenda because of your self-interest, because you have a selfish motive towards it. Obedience comes in the part where that you have the people's best interest. That's where the difference comes in between these two things. And for Magufuli, personally, for me, I still stand with him with what he did by not closing things, letting the economy run. Where I do not stand with him is not recognizing or acknowledging that there is COVID. And as a country, as my people, there's something we need to do. Even if later on in the months to come, because we see Tanzania had the elections, right? There were elections. So a lot of people are thinking, was it just because he wanted to get re-elected? That's why he did not put in the COVID. Personally, I think that he would have told the people, I am not closing the economy, I'm not closing the country, I'm not closing anything. But as a nation, let's recognize there's COVID. Let's understand that there's COVID. Because the fact that he did not do that, Tanzania was closed from most, even when countries opened. Tanzania, people are not going. Even right now, as we're speaking, there are no buses going to Tanzania from Kenya. Literally, it's just planes. And that was after Magufuli had to come to Kenya with Uhuru and sign something, whatever else, when planes were going to Tanzania. So I wish he would have acknowledged. Because right now, acknowledging, I think it's a bit too late. I personally think it's a bit too late, and there are some things or some privileges or something he has lost from his people. And actually at the large, the world at large. That is my take between the two of them.
I think one thing that COVID-19 has been done, especially in Africa or maybe East Africa, is mixing politics with with the actual fact of this pandemic.
Yeah.
Because the truth is the pandemic is there. COVID is real. And the truth also is that people are dying and they are losing their lives from COVID-19. One thing that I think TZ also did is they put politics into this COVID thing. And just to agree with Firebrand Jane is when they were going towards the election, and the same thing we're seeing in Kenya.
In terms of BBI.
Yeah, BBI, because we nobody can stop reggae. So let's go and sell BBI, and even if it means COVID people will have to bear with it. You get? So I think that's the same thing that happened in TZ. Not shutting the country, I will still agree with Firebrand Jane. Not shutting the country entirely was a good idea. It was one of the best idea, and I remember
the economy grew.
the economy grew, and I remember even on Twitter, TZ was trending, and we all were hailing Magufuli.
Right.
Thank you for not shutting TZ and all that. Right now, everybody is bashing Magufuli. And the reason why they're bashing Magufuli is because it backfired. If it did not backfire, we would still be hailing him as one of the efficient leaders. Yeah, I just think the measures, maybe he at some point they also ignored, just the same way Kenya we got to a place and we ignored. We did not have the social distance, the measures. We went to political rallies and did not take the measures.
Right.
So I think Magufuli did good. The only thing is that he did not push for people taking measures from the top government. Because I remember there are time he said, don't put on your masks. Yeah, there are time he told people not to put on their masks.
But in the statement, according to Al Jazeera, he took that back and he said his problem was, he was not actually saying not to put, you choose if you want to put it on or not.
Yes, but he was advising people. He said, if you want to put your mask, it's okay. We will not hinder you, but I advise you not to put on your mask. Actually, but now I think also from his side, we need also to understand why was he saying these things, because there were rumors that the masks were they had.
Remember.
You remember the whole thing. Yeah. So I think also from his side, he had the best interest for the country. From my view, he had the best interest for the country. But also must know there is the opposition in the same country. So these are people who will also manipulate the media, and they will also at some point bring even false information just to pull down on the government.
Right.
So that would be my take. It's a two-way thing, and I think maybe just he needed to put more measures. And even right now, when he has now realized, they can still recover. But I still insist, shutting the country is not
The solution.
the solution. Yeah.
Awesome. So as we bring this discussion to a close, what would be your parting shot? So basically, your advice to people, because at the end of the day, that's the one thing we've seen throughout history. Leadership or people in leadership will always think of themselves first. So using that stream of thought, what would be your parting shot, Jane?
Personally, to people, and this is something that I have sadly come to realize end of last year, and I feel that it is very important for even us as Kenyans is that we need to learn to ask questions. Questions will give us the freedom we need, because the government gets to a place, and I'm not bashing the government, I love Kenya, it's my country, but it gets to a place that wanatuchukulia kama watoto. So we need to learn to ask questions. We need to learn to ask, why is this happening? Why are you putting an extra 60 days? Not just being silent and like, okay, an extra 60 days. Okay. We need to stand up and ask questions and stand up for our rights as a country.
Awesome. Joshua?
And my parting shot would be Kenyans reason, and always know that don't follow blindly our leaders, but have your own mind, make the right choices. When it comes to elections, let's not be pulled by any political side or ethnic affiliation, but let's be wise, choose the right leaders, and let's make Kenya what we want it to be ourselves.
Awesome. So apply wisdom. I'd actually add ask questions, reason, and apply wisdom. Because at the end of the day, it's your life that is important. Well, that's all the time we had. Thank you so much for joining me for FNN Monday edition. Remember to use the hashtag Panelist Monday on all our social media platforms. And until next Monday, love God and love others passionately.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately.